What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC London. We have Tom Aspinall going against Alexander Volkov.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we're back for another video this week breaking down UFC London. I cannot wait for this card. We have a 12-fight card. It was supposed to be 13. We did unfortunately lose the Nathaniel Wood fight, but still 12 good fights, 12 very good fights, and looking forward to it. So we'll talk through it. As always, if you guys can leave a like, subscribe on the channel if you have not yet. Trying to reach 15K hopefully in the very near future. Going live at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, and then 1 hour prior to the prelims on Saturday. The prelims as of now starts at 1. We'll be going live at 12. Come check us out there. Check out the MMA Engine, doing some work over there as well. I'm doing a core plays video where I'm going further in depth into my core plays for this week's upcoming slate. So, that is about it. I say we get right into it, starting with the fight doesn't go to decision lines. And we have Topuria Herbert minus 425. Fight doesn't go to decision. And I definitely think this fight's going to finish. I am very high on Topuria this week. Probably one of my favorite plays on the entire slate. I think he has a massive advantage here on the mat. Topuria, a 91% finish rate. His only decision was against Eustace Law on his debut. But this guy's grappling is very good. I don't like Jai Herbert's takedown defense, currently sitting at 30%. Jai Herbert has also been finished in all 3 of his losses. I think Topuria kind of runs through him here, but Topuria is coming up a weight class on short notice. Herbert's going to be much bigger, and Herbert can hit very, very hard. If Topuria wants to test his striking, that's going to give Herbert a path to victory. So I think if Topuria fights smart, gets us down to the mat, he finishes Herbert within a round. But Herbert is live on the feet, so we'll see what happens there. But I'm going to have most of my exposure on the Topuria side. Pavlovich, Abdurakhimov minus 400. Fight doesn't go to decision. And I think this fight probably does finish, and I think it's probably a Pavlovich knockout. I don't see myself getting much Shamil, if any at all. Shamil's 40 years old. He's going to be at like an 8-inch reach disadvantage. Pavlovich, 11 years younger. I think Pavlovich probably knocks him out here. Probably knocks him out within the first round. If anything, I'm probably going to be playing Pavlovich here. I'm not high on Shamil whatsoever. So Pavlovich for me are pretty much past there. Paddy Pimblett, Kazula Vargas, minus 260. Fight doesn't go to decision. And I don't see myself playing much Vargas here as well. I think I'm going to be on the Pimblett side. He's 9,400, the most expensive fighter on the entire slate, and for a very good reason. Just like Topuria, I think Pimblett has a very good chance to get takedowns here and potentially get a submission. I did not like what I saw in terms of the ground game of Vargas. Vargas absolutely can be taken down and he can be held down. Doesn't really have a willingness to work his way back up to his feet. It could be a problem if Paddy Pimblett wants to stand and bang with Vargas. That would not be completely ideal, especially if you're paying 9,400. You're going to be looking for takedowns there. And I say he does get down Vargas, and I say he does submit Vargas at some point in this fight. I think he has takedown upside. I think he has a lot of control time upside, and I think he has finish upside as well. So I do like Paddy Pimblett, but as far as Vargas, I will not be touching him much, if any at all, at 6,800. And then we have Nelson Sato minus 210. Fight doesn't go to decision, and I do like the Nelson side, 9,200. I think if this fight hits the mat at any point, the fight will probably be over shortly after. Sato has been finished in all 4 of his losses, and he's been submitted in 3 of those 4 losses. And we know Gunnar Nelson, very good finisher, 94% finish rate, and a very good submission game as well. Gunnar Nelson is coming in after like a 2.5-year layoff, and Sato can hit very, very hard if Nelson is not prepared, if he's a little rusty. Sato at 7K, I think he does have some knockout upside, but again, 1 takedown, and I think the fight is over shortly after, with Gunnar Nelson getting a submission. So more so on the Nelson side, but I actually will have some Sato as far as a pump play goes. Okay, getting into our core plays here. Ilia Topuria, 9,300. We talked about it a little bit. This guy's an absolute finisher, and I guess I forgot how good this guy's ground game is because he's going out there and knocking out his last 2 opponents. But Topuria's ground game is absolutely no joke. Legit black belt in BJJ. I think even on the feet, he could probably knock out Jai Herbert. It's just, that's going to give Jai Herbert his only path to victory, which is Jai Herbert getting a knockout. But Jai Herbert's striking defense is bad. I think his chin is bad. I think his takedown defense is bad. I think Topuria should absolutely run through Jai Herbert, there's just, the red flags in terms of Topuria is coming in on short notice. Topuria is coming up a weight class, and Topuria is going to be at a massive size disadvantage, but he should absolutely get Herbert down and submit him probably in the first round. So I really like Topuria. I'm going to have a ton of him, and he is most definitely a core play for me. Nikita Krylov, 8,700. I think this is a very good fight to target. It's around minus 200, minus 205. Fight doesn't go to decision, so it didn't make the fight doesn't go to decision page there, but it was really close in doing so. You just take a look at these finish rates, and Krylov has a 97% finish rate. His first 11 UFC fights all finished. His last 3 have been to decision. Krylov, 35 fight sample with this as well. So this guy's an absolute finisher. Submissions, knockouts. Paul Craig, this guy's a finisher, a 100% finish rate, 80% coming by submission. And not only that, Paul Craig has been submitted once and also knocked out 3 times. Paul Craig finished in all of his losses. Paul Craig's only been to decision once in his career. I think this fight absolutely finishes, and I think Krylov has a very good chance of finishing Paul Craig on the feet. I do not like Paul Craig's chin, and Krylov hits pretty hard. So I think Krylov knocks him out here. I think he knocks him out probably in the first round. If Krylov wants to test his ground game against Craig, that's going to give Craig a path to victory, and we'll talk a little bit about Craig as far as the dog goes, but this is a fight as a whole I do want a lot of. I think somebody gets finished here, whether it's a Krylov knockout or whether it is a Paul Craig submission. I think both of those are on the table. Mike Grundy, 8,500. I think this is a very sneaky fight to target, I'll say. Right in the mid-range. I think a lot of people, and including me, going to be playing the Stars and Scrubs because this is one of the most stacked 9K ranges I've seen all year. I really want to make a focus on playing everybody in the 9K range, so I think this mid-range is going to be a little bit under-owned. And this is a fight that I think is very sneaky in terms of wrestling upside, grappling upside, control time, lots of takedowns, all that good stuff. And Grundy's a very, very good wrestler. Grundy's going to be 2 years older. He's going to be at a height disadvantage, but I do think he's going to have the slightly better cardio. I think he's going to have the slightly better striking as well. I think he's going to have absolutely more power. I think he can hurt Makwan, who's been hurt multiple times before. He's been knocked out a few times as well. And I just think the winner of this fight has a very good chance, a very sneaky chance, really, of finding its way in the optimal lineup. So I will have both sides here, but I'm more so on the Grundy side. I think, the cardio advantage is going to be a factor here. I like Grundy to have, he doesn't have the best cardio in the world, but I will say he has the better cardio in this matchup. I really hate Makwan's cardio. The dude slows down so much and very, very fastly. So give me Grundy to win. Give me Grundy to win, probably by decision, but racking up takedowns and maybe a potential knockout as well. So yeah, give me Grundy 8,500. And then Gunnar Nelson 9,200. I do like Gunnar Nelson here quite a bit. The problem is it's the layoff that's kind of scary, but man, this is such an easy matchup. If we get anywhere near the version of Gunnar Nelson we all know from like 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, he should roll through Takashi Sato. This is a guy in Gunnar Nelson who his last 2 opponents, Gilbert Burns, Leon Edwards, and one takedown should be all it takes here. I think his ground game is levels above Sato. I don't think Sato's ground game is really good at all. Sato's been submitted twice in the UFC, 3 times overall. I think Gunnar Nelson should absolutely go out here and get a first-round submission. So going to have a ton of Gunnar Nelson. I think he should smoke Takashi Sato probably in that first round if he's not rusty or nothing like that. GVP plays here. Sergey Pavlovich, 9,000. I like the price tag of Pavlovich here, 9K. I think he has first-round knockout upside. Shamil, 40 years old at this point. Shamil definitely looks like he's slowing down towards the end of his career. He's been dealing with a bunch of health issues as well. Pavlovich is another guy that's coming in off of like almost a 2.5-year layoff, so that's something to note. But he's going to have an 8-inch reach advantage, 11 years younger, tons of power. This guy's a finisher. He hits hard. I think he knocks out Shamil probably in the first round. If this does get extended, if this does get to the second, the third, goes to decision, obviously he's going to bust, but I do want to have some of this Pavlovich for that first-round knockout upside. Tom Aspinall, 8,300. Tom Aspinall, main event here going against Alexander Volkov. Aspinall, a 100% finish rate. Tom Aspinall's never seen that third round. I think he could potentially finish Alexander Volkov early on. Tom Aspinall is very, very dangerous. If this fight does get extended, I will be very nervous in terms of having Aspinall on my roster. Again, we've never seen him in the third round. He is 0-2 in fights that went over 1.5 rounds. So I think I do like Aspinall as far as a tournament play because if he does win, I feel like it's going to be early, but if it does get extended, I do think he probably loses. So yeah, I do like Aspinall though. I think he has a lot of finish upside, and 8,300 if he does win, it's probably early and does make that optimal lineup there. Paddy Pimblett, 9,400. Yeah, I like Pimblett here. 9,400, the most expensive fighter on the entire slate, and it's just it's an easy matchup. Just like the Gunnar Nelson, like Paddy Pimblett should absolutely come out here and take Vargas down and either lay on him for 15 minutes or even finish him. I just do not like what I see from the takedown defense of Vargas. I do not like what I see from the get-up game of Vargas. I think it's a very good matchup for Pimblett. I think he's very safe, and I think he does win this fight and scores pretty well. I do like, Topuria a little bit more for Topuria's upside. I do like Gunnar Nelson a little bit more, but I think Paddy Pimblett is right up there with those guys, in terms of scoring very well this week, and I think he's one of the more safer options on the card as well. And then Muhammad Mokaev, 9,100, probably one of the lower owned guys, I'd say, in that 9K range. I think the 9K range is going to be very high owned, but I see him being one of the lower owned guys because he is making his debut here against Cody Durden. And yeah, Mokaev, I don't know if he has a ton of finishing upside in this matchup, but I do know if he wins this fight, there's going to be a lot of takedowns, a lot of control time. This guy's relentless with his wrestling. And on top of that, I really like the cardio of Mokaev, and I think cardio is going to be the key factor in this fight. One guy has very good cardio, Mokaev, and one guy has about one round of cardio, and that's Cody Durden. So I think it's a great matchup for Mokaev. Again, I don't know if he finishes Cody Durden, maybe a late finish, but I do see Mokaev, getting takedowns. I like his top game as well. I think he can take Durden down as the fight goes on, and kind of just, lay on him for the majority of the fight, racking up control time. Maybe a late sub as well. See, I don't hate some Mokaev at 9,100. I really like everybody in this 9,000 range. I think the 9,000 range is going to score a ton this week. Live dogs, Alexander Volkov, 7,900. And we talked about it a little bit with Aspinall. Like, I'm scared of the first round and a half of Aspinall, but, who has knocked out Volkov? And the answer to that is not really anybody besides Derek Lewis and Minikov. Only 2 knockout losses in 43 heavyweight fights, which is just nuts. To only get knocked out twice with that many fights. You see a guy like, Alexei Oleinik with like 50 fights. The guy's been knocked out like 10 times. Arlovsky with around 50 fights. The guy's been knocked out like 12 times. But yeah, Volkov, 43 fights, only been knocked out twice. The guy's chin is very good, and he's fought really, really hard hitters as well. So could Aspinall finish Volkov early? Potentially. I don't think it's that likely, but I kind of see Volkov just taking over as the fight goes on and eventually finishing Aspinall. 7,900, I do think he's going to be lower owned than Aspinall as well. I do like that. So yeah, I do like Volkov as well as a live dog here. And then next we have Paul Craig, 7,500. 100% finish rate, you got to love that. And on top of that, we see that Krylov has been finished a ton. Krylov has been finished 6 times, and 5 of them... Never mind, he's been finished 8 times, and 5 of them coming by submission. So if Paul Craig wins, it's going to be a sub. It's going to score very well. Not a ton of dogs I like on the slate, but Craig is definitely somebody you have to take note of. 100% finish rate with that guy. Jack Shore, 7,600. I like Jack Shore as a live dog. I'm actually picking him to lose, but the line is closing quite a bit. It looks like it's approaching a pick'em at this point. A pick'em at 7,600 is, you're getting a lot of value there. And if Jack Shore does win, you're going to get a solid score. You're going to get a lot of takedowns, a lot of control time. He's not going to strike with Tamir Valiev. I think Jack Shore is a very good play, but he's going to be probably one of the highest owned dogs on the entire slate. Honestly, if not the highest owned dog, I think it's going to be really close between him and Volkov. But yeah, Jack Shore's, he's pretty much a must play for me because I don't like a ton of dogs, and he's a guy that, first of all, I like Jack Shore a lot. Second of all, I think it's a close fight. And third of all, he's 7,600, probably really underpriced here. So give me some Jack Shore at 7,600. And then Luana Carolina, 7,800. Again, really struggling to find some live dogs here. I think a lot of these favorites roll, but I don't hate some of Luana Carolina. I think it's going to be a very high-paced fight that Molly McCann's going to bring. Molly McCann eats almost 5 significant strikes per minute. I think Carolina's the better striker. I think she stuffs takedowns and wins this fight. 7,800, I don't hate it. And then another guy I did want to mention a little bit, it's going to be Makwan Amarkani. I think it's going to be a very grappling heavy-based fight. Maybe Makwan can have success at 7,700. I think that's a solid look as well. But yeah, those are the only dogs that are really sticking out to me this week. But we'll talk about some punt plays, and I think a lot of punt plays are sticking out. Punts, these are just guys with a puncher's chance. I think they absolutely lose, and they absolutely should lose. But if they win, they're going to be optimal. They're going to get a knockout. So Sato 7K. If he wins, I see him knocking out Gunnar Nelson. Again, I don't think it's likely. I think Nelson takes him down and subs him, but Nelson's been off for 2.5 years, and Sato does hit very hard, and we have seen Gunnar knocked out before. So, yeah, Sato pump play, not the worst look in the world. The same thing with Herbert. Knockout or bust guy, I think he should absolutely lose, but if he does win, it's probably a knockout. He's going to be much, much bigger. Topuria, short notice, up a weight class. If Herbert wins, it's going to be my knockout. This guy hits very, very hard. Other than that, for a pump play, I think that's about it. I don't want to play Shamil. I don't want to play Vargas. Yeah, I think that would be about it for me. So, yeah, those are the plays for this week. We got our fade. Lastly, we have Arnold Allen, just such an easy fade. I think he's going to get some ownership as well. People are really high on this guy, and he's a very good fighter, but my goodness, he's a terrible scorer on DraftKings. This is a guy that his best win on DraftKings is like 82. So, yeah, easy fade for me. Probably one of the easiest fades of the year, and I really hope people play this guy because he is a favorite now at 8K. Maybe that's going to gain some ownership, but my goodness, this guy does not score anything. So those are the plays. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys can leave a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, trying to reach 15K. If you do want extra content, more content, sign up to dfsbythenumbers.com on the DFS package there. Lots of stuff already out and lots of stuff coming within the next couple hours as well. So, yeah, that's about it, guys. Good luck, and let's keep killing it. See you guys.